What's going on, you guys? You know what it is. It's your boy, TheFlightMike.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed.
TheFlightMike is finally full-time on YouTube.
While I do enjoy making content for you guys, this may not be where my future lies.
I am 20 followers away from hitting the 5,000 follower mark on Instagram.
We just hit 400,000 subscribers, 500,000 subscribers, 800,000 subscribers. I got kicked out of dental school. At the time, I had absolutely nothing. I hit rock bottom with my life. Everyone that was my quote-unquote friend gave up on me, but I wanted to thank you all for giving me an opportunity to have my dream job on a day-to-day basis.
I'm your boy, TheFlightMike.
and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? I want to take a moment to thank each and every one of you from the bottom of my heart for 1 million subscribers. Whether you're a person that's viewing the content, one of the individuals that are behind the scenes with me, helping me make the content, any one of my friends that are constantly blowing up my phone anytime breaking news drops, whether you subscribed within the last week or you were there from the beginning when I was making Madden and NBA 2K content, struggling to make it on YouTube, or if you were there when I almost gave up on my YouTube dream, or you were there when I first live streamed the NBA draft in a desperate attempt to get subscribers so I could make NBA news content. From the bottom of my heart, I wanted to thank you guys, because each and every single day I don't really feel like I'm working. I have my dream job, and I have for the past 6 years, and it's all possible because of you guys, and I'll never ever take that for granted, ever. You guys have changed my life for the better, and I'm so grateful for it. I try to make sure you guys are all aware of that every time I have the pleasure of meeting one of you guys in real life. So I know I've dragged this thank you on for a pretty decent amount of time. I apologize if this went on for too long, but I just wanted you guys to know from the bottom of my heart, man, I am so grateful for the opportunity to be one of your go-to sources for NBA news. And to be honest, I never thought I would be making this announcement on a video on Klay Thompson underperforming in the preseason. So I know what you guys might be thinking.
Mike, it's just the preseason. Why are you making this video?
It's primarily because the preseason has kind of continued from Klay Thompson's final game on the Golden State Warriors. And two, I really think the Dallas Mavericks are putting Klay Thompson in a really bad situation. Now, if you guys remember, Klay Thompson's final season with the Golden State Warriors was a catastrophe. I mean, the man looked like a shell of his former self. He didn't look like he was having fun there. We saw multiple instances of him just looking straight up depressed on his interviews and just lacking confidence.
Kurt talks a lot about believing in his guys, especially the starting lineup, having patience, letting guys kind of, find their game. How aware are you of that kind of patience, and how much do you value it?
What do you want me to bench me?
No. It's like that's
bench Wiggs?
I don't think I said that.
I mean, you can suggest it, it's fine. But I mean, thanks, Steve, I guess. Like, I don't know, sometimes you earn these things like patience and time to find yourself. And I think history is on our side when it comes to that stuff.
You say that, dude. Have you heard people say that, or
No, I don't care what people say.
Eventually, Klay Thompson was brought off of the bench, but rightfully so. This wasn't the Klay Thompson of old, but like we've said in previous videos, it shouldn't be the Klay Thompson of old. This guy has gone through so much in order to continue to play basketball, and a lot of fans just tend to forget this, mainly because we see Steph Curry doing just fine, and we see LeBron James playing at a very high level going into his age 40 season. Or maybe you pay attention to Kevin Durant, who also came off of an Achilles tear, that still performed relatively well. But in the case of Klay Thompson, this is an individual that tore his ACL, and right as he was ready to come back, he tore his Achilles. The fact that he was able to return and still average 20 points per game off of 39% shooting in the Golden State Warriors championship season in 2022, and then once again average 41% from three while averaging 22 points per game the year after, was nothing short of a miracle. The problem was, this is not the Klay Thompson from 2015 that not only provided incredible shooting from the perimeter, perimeter, but was also one of the best defenders in the NBA. And rightfully so. This is a guy that tore his Achilles and tore his ACL and is now going into his age 34 season. So when Klay Thompson had the opportunity to become a free agent, it was kind of a no-brainer. There was no upside to returning to the Golden State Warriors. He didn't like the way the Warriors were treating him, but despite Steve Kerr saying that Klay Thompson is vital to the fabric that is the Golden State Warriors.
It's tough. It's tough. I love Klay so much. I mean, what he's meant to me in the 10 years we've been together. I've watched him the last couple of years, fighting the feeling of devastation from the injuries. And I've watched him this year really flip his season around with his approach and play with a little more freedom, a little more joy. So tonight was tough to see him struggle. But as I told the guys in there, that's all part of being an athlete and being an NBA player. There's incredible highs and really tough lows, and this was a tough one for Klay and for the whole team, and it hurts, so it's all part of it.
Klay Thompson eventually made his decision, and this is where it was very surprising. Originally, we thought Klay was going to either sign with the Lakers or join the Golden State Warriors once again, and we primarily thought this was an issue to do with money, but after we saw the contract that he signed with the Mavericks, it was very clear this had nothing to do with money. This had everything to do with legacy, because the contract he signed with the Mavericks was a contract he could have easily signed with the Golden State Warriors. Remember, in the very beginning, Klay Thompson wanted a max deal.
Especially with Klay Thompson, who I'm told has an expectation that he would be rewarded with a new max level contract extension this offseason. He's got a year left on his deal at $43 million. Next year, he's come back this year. It certainly helped the team to a championship last year. Had a historic offensive season this season. Just the third player ever to have 300 three-pointers in a season. But this is an inflection point now for the Golden State organization with Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, and then Draymond Green, who could opt into his deal at $27 million. Warriors could be facing a payroll and luxury tax over $500 million.
We made $500 on Prize Picks this past Sunday, and fortunately, a lot of you guys tailed my picks on Instagram and Snapchat, and you guys let me know in my DMs. One of you even made $1,000 from my picks. Prize Picks is giving us another free square, meaning we only need to get one pick correct in order to 3x our money. All Anthony Edwards needs to do on opening night is score 1 point. Fortunately, we've been on a crazy streak, and if you haven't played Prize Picks, download the app or click in the link in the description down below and use my promo code microphone to get $100 when you make an entry of $5 or more. Then follow me on Instagram at TheFlightMike or on Snapchat to get my picks for free. And thank you, Prize Picks, for the sponsor. So the fact that he came out and not only didn't sign a max deal, not only signed for slightly below the max, but he signed for less than half of a max contract with the Dallas Mavericks. This gave you everything that you needed to know about Klay Thompson and what he wanted at this point. He wanted to prove that he could still win a championship without the Golden State Warriors. And honestly, the fit was perfect. He goes to Dallas, which has no state income tax, plays alongside Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, is without a doubt the best three-point shooter on that squad, and he's not expected to be the number 2 guy anymore. But on top of this, the Dallas Mavericks made a series of incredible moves throughout the offseason. And I gotta admit, from the moment they moved on from Donnie Nelson to Nico Harrison as the general manager, this team has been doing nothing but making incredible decisions. And I was a huge fan of the 2023 Dallas Mavericks offseason, where they were able to add Derek Lively. But in this offseason, they doubled down on what they needed, adding Najee Marshall, Quentin Grimes, Spencer Dinwiddie, and of course, Klay Thompson, making the Dallas Mavericks one of the deepest teams in the West and reloading for a potential opportunity to make it back to the NBA Finals. And if you just take a look at what the Dallas Mavericks said about Klay Thompson, I mean, GM Nico Harrison said that, honestly, after the finals, we felt that we were close. Well, we knew we were close, and I kind of say this, it has a good ring to it, but we were a Klay Thompson away, and we feel like he's the guy that can take us over the top. And I don't know if this is just the Mavericks trying to hype up Klay Thompson to boost his confidence or if it's something else, but Jason Kidd said that Klay Thompson is still a superstar. He's worked hard in camp, and the Mavericks will need his experience and leadership, which I don't care who you are, bro. That's just a wild thing to say. Klay Thompson isn't a superstar anymore. He's not even an all-star anymore. And I don't mean that in any offense to Klay Thompson, but he himself knows this. And I think the expectations for Klay Thompson off the bat have been way too high. And this brings us to Klay's performance in the preseason thus far, which once again, I understand it's just the preseason. Maybe I'm just that excited for basketball coming around, which is why I'm making this video, or maybe this is just me trying to keep an eye on a storyline that we've been covering over the past year. But so far, Klay Thompson's been terrible in the preseason. I mean, he's played 3 games for the Dallas Mavericks thus far, and man, it seems like he's just picking up right where he left off, which is kind of crazy because even his final game for the Golden State Warriors was a bit of an outlier, I have to admit. It's crazy because these numbers sound so familiar. In Klay's final game for the Golden State Warriors in the play-in versus the Sacramento Kings, he had 0 points, 4 rebounds, and an assist, and a turnover off of 0 for 10 shooting from the floor, and 0 for 6 from the 3-point line. And what's crazy is that Klay Thompson has just been continuing to play horribly. I mean, against the Utah Jazz a few days ago, Klay Thompson scored 10 points, 0 rebounds, and 3 assists off of 3 of 9 from the field. Against the Los Angeles Clippers, he went 0 for 9 from the field with 0 points, 3 rebounds, and an assist. And the eye test doesn't really fare that much better. If you add it all together, it means Klay Thompson is 3 of 30 throughout his last 3 games. And while I do understand it's preseason, I will admit, just looking at him play in the Dallas Mavericks jersey, it's a little bit concerning because this was supposed to be the guy that got the Mavericks over the hump. And I expect some of these things to be ironed out. Like, for instance, one of the things that Klay Thompson has always succeeded at was cutting to the basket, and I expect for him to get his timing down as the season goes on. But some of the things he did in these games was just very odd, to say the least. I mean, against the Los Angeles Clippers, you don't typically see Klay trying to drive it into the basket. And the thing that's even crazier throughout this entire period of time, and I know once again it is preseason and everything could flip easily once the regular season starts, is that the Golden State Warriors look like they're geniuses. I mean, they look like they're having a blast. Just look at this clip of Moses Moody and Brandon Podziemski. Meanwhile, the Golden State Warriors have been undefeated throughout the preseason, and it seems like they've solved a lot of their issues. And I honestly think this deserves its own video, but it seems like they finally figured out what they should do in the post-Klay Thompson era. Now, I don't know how sustainable this is because it's still preseason, but it seems like the Golden State Warriors are rolling out with a Steph Curry, Andrew Wiggins lineup. So moving Andrew Wiggins to the 2 alongside Jonathan Kuminga, Draymond Green, and Trace Jackson Davis. And even Steve Kerr said that this was the key to their offense. Now, Wiggins didn't perform incredibly against the Los Angeles Lakers. He finished with 11 points and 3 of 9 shooting from the field. But it seems like at least so far, the Golden State Warriors have some sort of idea of what their identity is going to be moving forward without Klay Thompson. Buddy Hield is actually being moved to the 6th man position, which is what Klay Thompson's original position was supposed to be. So it seems like the Warriors made the right decision here in regards to moving on from Klay, but again, it's still just the preseason. We have to check back in a month from now to get an idea of how things are going to go for the Warriors and, of course, Klay Thompson. But if you're a Warriors fan or if you're a Mavericks fan, let me know in the comment section down below, how do you feel this early on, before the regular season even started, about Klay Thompson's performance with the Dallas Mavericks? I'd like to hear what you have to say. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.